Maybe. Hey, Patriot fam.
You never know what you're going to get when he says, oh, go. Welcome to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're grateful that you joined us for this Friday edition where we're both live in studio. Double trouble. What is it? The Doublemint twins?
The Troublemint twins.
Troublemint.
That's what we are. We're the Troublemint twins. Happy Freedom Friday, Patriot family. Thank you for joining Open Mic, ladies, on all social media platforms and Spotify. We love you guys so much. Don't forget to hop into our comments, not our DMs, because I don't answer those. We hope you're having a fantastic Friday. I really do. Oh my gosh. So I was listening to, because you guys know I listen to Joy FM.
Yes.
You guys can go to Joy FM.
Christian music radio. Yeah.
I just have to start my morning with the Lord.
Yeah.
And there was a story of this lady who was driving down, like, I think a highway or a road, and a cat landed and broke her windshield.
Is this in Florida?
I don't think so. I think it's North Carolina.
Oh,
a bald eagle had a cat in its talons, and I guess it was going to yum yum a little later, and ended up dropping it. And it cracked this woman's window. The cat did not survive, but the woman did. And there was no accidents. But I was just like, oh my gosh, a bald eagle with a cat? Like, that was what I got away from.
Allie. Oh my gosh, what a story.
Crazy story this morning. It like kind of stuck with me today. I don't know.
That's the show, ladies and gentlemen.
So they're also talking about on Joy FM is what are your 100 things that you are grateful for? Ooh. Find something that brings you joy, or the gifts of God that bring you joy, because that will take you out of whatever season you are in. And there are so many people right now that are in a struggling season. It's an exposure season. It's a storm. It is whatever is ailing you right now. Don't focus on the storm. Focus on what are the joys of the Lord.
You know, Allie, when you say that, I was just about to, in welcoming our guests, I was about to say, you know, if you feel like you need to, which you do, need to be in touch with current events, what's happening across our nation, but watching the news can be a little heavy. It can be a little, I mean, because it is. We're always fighting evil every day. Evil does not take a day off, neither do we. So we like to think of ourselves as the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. You're going to have to get those current events anyway. At least you can do it with a couple of friends who really we try to embrace lightheartedly some of these heavy topics. So that's true, Allie. It's good. It's like something to be grateful for. I'm grateful for you, girl.
Oh,
all right, guys. We are the open platform for never going mute, never going filtered, never going censored. We're thankful to Patriot TV. Let's go ahead and open the mic.
To where we started, we're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of Maggieville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. Then keep your red hat on.
That last photo always makes me laugh.
That last photo, I think it was, I don't know what tropical storm it was in Florida that we were filming during, but we survived, just gonna say. Allie, quick update. This was last night, but I don't know how many news sources you guys saw that actually were covering this. We were walking in some of these tunnels underneath. You know, not so much the Capitol, but under
Rayburn.
Is it Rayburn?
Yeah, it's the Rayburn building.
Take a look at this. Fox News was reporting, I don't know if there's any audio, but there was a fire apparently at
one of the congressional buildings. So the Rayburn building is where a lot of our House reps are. I believe it's a couple floors, but this fire occurred in the tunnel.
Okay, the trolley system underneath.
Yeah, there were 2 people that were, I believe,
getting medical treatment.
Yeah, receiving some medical treatment. Everyone else seems to be safe, so that was a little scary.
Yeah, a little scary. Well, and for somebody that's claustrophobic to be, there's a shortcut to get to the Rayburn. Yeah, in tunnels. Okay.
Especially when it's really cold outside, like those.
Well, that part. Or your feet are hurting and you want to take your shoes off.
And
you
don't want to walk out in the street. No, it's cool. So yeah, we thank the DC Fire Department, Federal Fire Department for coming in quickly and taking care of that. So thank you guys for keeping our representatives safe and the staff that work there. The staff work so diligently there. They're so nice.
They weren't off during the shutdown. They weren't off during the shutdown.
No,
they don't
weren't.
get a shutdown.
No.
Allie, I know today we want to focus a little bit on something that's not largely talked about in our local community as well as nationwide. Some people are really tiptoeing around this issue of what we're seeing with the uptick in extreme Islam across our country. We noticed it here in Florida that people were using their educational savings accounts, your tax dollars that go with you for school choice. They were using it to put children in funds that were going to, whether it's church or whatever, but there was one group, especially in Tampa, that was practicing Sharia law and teaching that. And so they were using their tax dollars to go send their children to this school. We cannot allow things to rise up in this country that violate not only our state statutes, our state constitution, but our federal constitution. We just can't do it. Sharia law does not coexist ever with our Constitution. So I want to talk first about, first of all, we will have a great guest here later after the commercial break. Doc Pete Chambers will be joining us from Texas. But we have, Allie, the Epic community in, which I'm told, let me find out what it stands for. Hold on, I had this up the other day. It's an Islamic community, right, that's been built in Texas. I don't think this has been largely reported on.
No.
But what shocks me about
I can only literally think about only 2 people that have really reported on it, aside from us, which is quite insane.
Well, it's an entire
While
community.
everybody else is worried about all things that don't touch their kitchen table.
It's an entire community that's risen up and been constructed in the red state of Texas. There's now a retired police sergeant in Texas who is exposing what he sees as maybe like a compound that's been built there. I want you guys to take a listen. The audio is a little low, so turn it up, but take a listen.
I retired from the Plano Police Department after 26 years of full-time law enforcement service, and I dealt with representatives of Epic many times when I was the sergeant for the Plano Police Department, the training sergeant for the Plano PD. There seems to be a general misunderstanding that we're talking about a plan to build an Islamic Sharia-friendly community. The Epic neighborhood already exists in Plano. It's been there for nearly 12 years, with 74 residential properties, a massive mosque, schools, a medical clinic, and multiple businesses. It also has an office of an Islamic financing institution called the UIF Corporation. The UIF Corporation is not a bank. It's a Michigan-based corporation whose publicly stated purpose is to, quote, engage in financial transactions that are Sharia compliant, end quote. Those are their words, not mine. The local government officials south of here have known for years that only Muslims can purchase homes inside that neighborhood. You have to be a member of their mosque to live there. First house built in that neighborhood was built.
Bring it back. Thank you.
Wow.
So,
talk about bombshell.
Governor Abbott, though, so when they said for 12 years.
12 years. So I think our guest actually has shaken him a little, scared a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's decided to now, I guess, ban Sharia law.
Sharia law courts. Well, yes. So Epic City is East Plano Islamic Center. Take a quick look at this. This is a headline from Collin County. The residents there, Allie, are largely, they're rejecting this planned city that is not just planned. It's actually, you can see aerial footage of it. I think we have another
I mean, it's
here.
pretty big too.
Yeah, it's an Islamic development that they're now saying maybe the name has changed. I'm sure our guests will be able to help us with that. Called the Meadow. That sounds much softer.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, they're taking their playbook from the left. If they're offended by it, just change what it's called. Don't actually change it. So I just want to engage a little bit with our viewers and let them know we're not obviously advocating for any kind of violence at all, but we have to.
It's not.
We have to. When we saw what happened in Dearborn, Michigan, people were walking the streets trying to just let them know that their community was largely not in favor of these call to prayers that were happening publicly out in the open, forced a lot of the times, and it ended up that there was a scuffle because when we go quiet for so long and we don't talk about the things that are happening in our neighborhoods, because largely, let's face it, Christians, conservatives, we tend to be nice people. And so you think, I don't want to engage, I don't want to cause any problems, but your silence really is compliance.
It is. And we've seen that since 2020, you guys. I mean, we should not go back to that. And right now what you're witnessing is now these radical Islamists are taking what they've seen, the CCP do here in America, right? And what Antifa has been able to do in America, and they will implement the same thing.
Yeah.
This is not to cause fear. This is to inform you, one, so you know what you're up against, two, so that you can keep your head on a swivel, and three, so you can make sure that you go petition your local government.
Absolutely, Allie, because part of what we're seeing is that, and I hear about this even when I go to local school board meetings, people are always misinformed about what our country and our founding documents say about freedom of religion. That you definitely have the freedom to come here and practice the Muslim faith if that's what you choose to do. But you do not have the right to set up your own parallel system of government that completely thwarts the Constitution.
Exactly.
You can do that in other countries that don't have that same legality.
There's other countries, y'all. Like, why are you coming here to do that? I mean, you can do that over there. Like, stop it.
Well, so there is, and I love how you said it. It really is local because we've put the target on CAIR, CAIR, and what they're doing nationwide. They are largely raising funds and donating funds to candidates across the country. You thought Mandami,
he's not the only one,
was a one-off in New York.
He's not the only one, guys. If you actually look up how many Muslims we have in elected positions, you'll shock yourself. Because I was. And I'm not going to tell you. I want you to go look at it.
Didn't you used to have, I thought that it was only, I'm not saying it should be this, but only Christians or Catholics. Didn't we originally have that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, somebody's going to message us and let us know.
So.
I thought that was the case, and I've heard people make that case. I don't know how you feel about that. Drop it in the comments. What do you think about that? What do you think about having somebody who is of the Muslim faith? Does that matter to you? Or does it only matter if they choose to practice extreme Islam and implement Sharia law, which is a slippery slope? The Texas State Board of Education, guys, they have a member, Brandon Hall. I love this. This is what you do in your state house if you don't like what's going on. He called out the CAIR official and asked if she could be removed from public comment since Governor Abbott has now dedicated and designated CAIR as a foreign terrorist organization. Wake up, state governors. Where are you? We need you guys to do this. Take a quick listen.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman. What's your point of information? Yesterday, the governor designated CAIR as a foreign terrorist organization. Is there anything in our rules preventing leadership of a foreign terrorist organization from testifying before our board?
I would like to reply. I would like to emphasize that CAIR Texas.
We'll bring it back. I know it's kind of hard that
Yeah, it was a little hard to hear, but you get the premise.
I don't understand. I have a question. Maybe you have a question, Allie. Why are we handling this just in the state and not federally? Do you think it's too big of a lift?
No, of course not. I don't think it's too big of a lift. I mean, look at what's going on with Antifa. Antifa was declared a national terrorist or a foreign terrorist organization. And if CAIR is doing it in the state, I think that actually strengthens it, right? Because the states are sovereign and they can do that.
Right.
But it does need to happen federally. And I do think that, didn't Marco Rubio already do that?
Muslim Brotherhood.
The Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he needs to designate CAIR as well because CAIR funds the Muslim Brotherhood.
CAIR's the money.
That's the non-governmental organization, the NGO that
C4.
funds, right? Because everything requires money.
I love this. Thank you, David, for educating me on for their belief in God had to be was a
yes, that was a requirement. Okay. And they changed it in what 1961. Okay, cool. So I don't know. Do you want to go back to that? Is that something that
But let's face it, even some of those that pledged to be Christians up on the Capitol Hill.
Okay, but listen.
Not so much.
Because not everybody's walk with Christ looks the same. And this is we're gonna get into a whole other topic. Let's just
Are you here for it, Allie? I don't know.
I'm not.
So this is our call today, is to basically ask our governors across the country to maybe take a look at what Abbott's doing. A little too late, maybe. I'm shocked to hear, and we've had Bianca Gracia on our show before too from Texas, and she has mentioned many times her disapproval of Governor Abbott in the deep red state of Texas, just for not being for not being staunch enough on these topics. That's why I'm going to love having our next guest that we're going to have after the commercial break. Allie, let's go ahead and go to a quick commercial break because I want to get our guest on. Guys, you're going to find out how you can get your hands on Liberty cigars and help open mic ladies at the same time. You know, it would make a great gift for someone in your life or even your elected representatives. They like gifts too. We'll be right back with more Open Ladies after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
If that tune doesn't get in your head, it's stay in your head.
I kind of want to address something.
Go ahead.
Now that we have a little bit of time.
Okay, go ahead.
You had made a statement. What was your statement about?
I made a lot of statements.
I know, but
About faith?
No. So this is. I have a question for everybody watching.
Okay.
Since when did we? How did this get construed that everybody in government is moral? When was the last time we had a moral government? We have not been moral or ethically moral for probably over 100 years. Everybody in Washington is most likely compromised somehow.
Well, we all are fallen.
Everybody is. We're all fallen, right? And so there is it's just not possible, right? I mean, it is possible. There are a few that I think maybe
that walk it out.
Walk it out.
Not so much in government, but
we also don't have reporters, right, that are digging 20 years into their skeleton closet to pull things out, to damage careers and damage personalities. And you know what I'm saying? Well, so my issue is if we had journalists that were actually investigating the things that are going on in our country that actually touch the kitchen table of every single American, like the Islamification of America, like the fact that we have terrorist cells that are in our country because of an open border, the fact that we have over 100 executive orders that are not codified into law right now through federal or through the state, the fact that we have a housing crisis, the fact that we have SNAP, where we have hundreds of thousands of dead people that are receiving federal assistance. Like, these are the things that Americans care about.
Veterans not being able to still get the quality of care that they
exactly
deserve. Absolutely.
We have a woman that is close to us. We lost a friend, and his wife is struggling because of the processes and procedures that are in place for veterans care.
Yes, to get the survivor's benefits.
Right. Not even that, and it's Christmas time. And the money that he gets because he was retired or medically retired or whatever it is, it doesn't even cover the rent.
Gosh, yeah. It is sad.
Like, these are the issues that we need to be focused about.
And here's the other thing, Allie. I think as a candidate for school board here, this is the thing that also stops good people from running for office.
Yes.
Because, and I do understand what you're saying, the idea that people are naturally going to always do the right thing it's not even from our founding.
No.
We are fallen people, obviously, but I think it's what stops good people from running for office, because you think, well, in 1992 I blah 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 blah, or I'm divorced, and so you worry about people going in and digging through
what
through your
we're
past.
watching and what we're witnessing is we're watching how politics are really played. We're watching people utilize skeletons as leverage. On both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides. And nobody is talking about the bigger issue.
Well, and here's the thing. All I require, and this is why I love President Trump, because, you know, as a Christian, you get asked this all the time when he was on the ballot, like, how can you vote for somebody? I'm not looking for my pastor to be the leader of the country. I'm looking for somebody who can lead, yes, morally and ethically, with some checking. You know, you've got to have people to the right and left of you that are checking you constantly, which only a good leader would have those people in their circle around him. But Allie, I agree with you wholeheartedly, which is why our next guest is so special to us, because somebody that largely has led with ethics and morality, and now, after years and years and a lifetime of service, decides, you know what, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for the governor's race of Texas because he's not done serving. He's a decorated U.S. war veteran. His name is Doc Pete Chambers. Just a little bit about him. 39-year military career. He began his service as an enlisted infantryman and became a senior Green Beret officer and special operations flight surgeon. Doc is a combat wounded veteran, Purple Heart recipient, and has also been awarded numerous awards, guys, including the Bronze Star Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal, and the Combat Medal Badge. He entered the national spotlight. He became national news after he stood up for the unlawful orders imposed upon 6,000 Texas Guardsmen by the Department of Defense and the Texas Military Department. And then, obviously, in 2022, he again stepped into the national spotlight when Senator Ron Johnson named him as one of 4 whistleblowers who exposed the dangers of the unlawful mandate vaccine. He was asked to testify in the Navy SEALs versus the DOD case. He has been fighting his whole life, and now he's going to fight some more. Welcome to Open Mic. You're no stranger to Open Mic. Welcome, Doc Pete Chambers.
Hey, good to be back. It's so great to see you. I'm on the road again.
On the road again. Well, you know, we're talking a little bit about some of what's taking place in your state there in Texas. I'm sure none of this is news to you. How have you been seeing this over the course of years, and what is your opinion on the leadership there, both locally and in the state, as far as how they've responded to this with the Epic City?
Yes, 2015, I left Fort Bragg, came out to Texas and joined the Guard, and I was in a special forces unit down here, and then worked the border, worked a lot of counterterrorism issues in the state of Texas, and I understand it. I guarantee you better than anybody else in any political position in Texas right now, because I was the guy looking for the needle in the stack of needles coming across the border during the Biden administration, where 12,500 people came across on average a week, which were represented by about 150 different countries that came across. So it wasn't just folks looking for a job for, during the season, like typical migration patterns take place. This was a transfer migration that was intended to demoralize, destabilize, and disenfranchise our nation from within, which is called, possibly, it could be a coup, but a color revolution. It could be a soft coup, many different names, depending on what agency you work for. But the bottom line is it's intended to destabilize. That's what it's done. So now within those ranks, the ones that I was really specifically looking for, Hezbollah, Hamas, CCP, bad actors, any fighting age male that came here from China is connected to the intelligence apparatus of China, period. I will always defer to that first because that's the way that works. So now we're looking at, okay, we're in a time where politics hasn't changed. It's gotten either stale or it's gotten either stale, tyrannical, or completely illegal, unlawful, some of the things that they're doing. And so, now that I know what I know, I didn't know then, I just scratched my head and said, what happened back home? I spent a lot of time going back and forth to Afghanistan, Iraq, the Middle East, Jordan. And so for me, you kind of don't pay attention to what's happening back home until you get back home. And then some people asked me to run, here I am. But now we're looking at institutions in the state of Texas, particularly. You mentioned Epic, and that's in Plano, East Plano, up north by Dallas. And then you also have Richardson, Plano, let's see, I'm trying to think, Prosper. There's some other towns that are come on board. Houston has a large presence, about 400 mosques in the state of Texas. Now, I don't have a problem with a religious building. I don't. But what I do have a problem with is when you're tied to a specific organization, i.e. Muslim Brotherhood, who was orchestrated the color revolution that took place way back in Egypt during the, I believe it was might have been under, what was it? It was under Obama. And so that was an orchestrated color revolution that took place in the Middle East, which then set the place on fire. because then you had Syria, you had the ISIS come in. We had already been operating in the space in Iraq. We pulled out. Obama created a vacuum by pulling our troops out way too fast. Same thing happened in Afghanistan. Kind of lost faith in our Department of Defense leaders to do a phased withdrawal, but that's a whole other problem. What I do know is that that this Epic City, specifically the Epic City, has been there for years. We knew about it. We chased bad guys up into Colony Ridge, which is another 40 square mile area of all illegals that are living north of Houston. These are from all different walks of life. Schools in there that teach Mandarin Chinese, all these things. And if you put it together and you put your, for me, my Green Beret thinking cap on, and I go, okay, I'm going to look at the most dangerous course of action. What could possibly happen with all of this? So we just common sense, make the considerations. We develop the different courses of action. If I were the enemy, what would I do? And so that's what I'm looking at. I don't know, what the tie-in with CAIR is. I do know what the tie-in, but I don't know how they're getting away with, because they are a large lobby. They're a lobby, and they are lobbying our representatives who are saying nothing. And this is a problem. That's personal.
Quite scary when you think about it. It is, and the amount of money that is going, not just the amount of money that's going into funding these things across the nation, even across the world, really, because it's not just happening here in America. It's already happened and is taking place overseas in the UK, in Germany, and places like that. And so what we're seeing this actually occur here, but we're seeing it move very slowly, very silently, because nobody's really paying attention to it. And it's quite interesting.
Well, and it's a line. It's a line you have to walk too, because and again, you're running for office, so you know as well as I do that we do walk a line where we want to give people freedom of expression for their for their religious beliefs, but there's a line that you draw when like they had courts, Sharia courts, that were operating, a couple I think in California, a couple in Texas, that is a defiance of state and federal constitution. So then I think we walk that line, and you try to be so polite, and then you've just got to put the foot down at some point, which I believe Abbott has done. I want to ask you about your decision to run for governor. We've had you on the show before talking about that. So what makes somebody who's already served as much as you have decide, you know what, I think my leadership skills might be needed at the state level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 39 years for me in active Guard and Reserves total. I got my good 20 years out. So I went ahead and got out after that. Being a whistleblower, the DOD doesn't like you very much when you tell on them. But for me, it was simply people asked me. It was a group of people. They ambushed me. I'm going to say I got ambushed my last time in my life, and so I got ambushed by a great group of people, people of faith from all over the country. But they met up in North Texas, and it was actually on the day of Pentecost when they met. We were having a kind of just a cookout, and they said the reason we asked you to come up, Doc, was we want you to run for governor. Some of us have joked and said you're kind of the spiritual governor of Texas. And I said, well, that's an honor, thank you, but no, I won't run for office. Well, would you at least pray about it? I said, okay, fair enough, I'll pray about it. Now, the most dangerous prayer that you can absolutely, you can't go back and change what you've done in life. Whether you lived a good life, bad life, or you've walked like me in between both worlds until I actually developed a relationship with Jesus. If you pray this, Lord, your will be done, and whatever it is that you want me to do, I'm going to 120% do with all of my heart, all of my soul, persevere to the end, to the finish line. That's the prayer I prayed. And that got me to where I'm at today, because at the end of the week, when I said I would answer the question, would I run? We found ourselves doing a feasibility study and talking to people around the country, other people in politics, people that ran against Abbott before, Alan West, General Flynn, different people that I know in political realm. What do you think? And every single one of them came back and said, you have to do it. Politics hasn't changed. As we said before, it's slimy. And there's many good people up there.
They're good
but
people.
The numbers are few. And so in the totality of politics. So for me, it was that. And then on the last day before the week, I said, okay, Lord, just say no. Just say no.
We've had those conversations.
And he didn't. So beware of what you pray for. And I say that tongue in cheek. But if you are, listen, it is the natural progression of a godly man or woman, or someone of honor, to see injustice and to take a stand. That's the only
Absolutely.
reason
Oh, I
I ever
love
stayed
that.
in for that many years and truly lived the motto of the Green Berets, De Oppresso Libere, to free the
Yeah.
oppressed. I truly,
Oh, I love
Even
that.
if
we
you are a
truly live.
flawed person and you see injustice, you can still stand there and say, look, this is wrong.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Even if you've done
It is-
wong yourself,
We
you
all
can still
have, and we've
stand
all,
and right,
yes.
exactly.
That's redemption.
And you
That's my
can,
point.
and you can always pivot, right? Use pivot. You know,
Yes.
that's to repent. But if you tell somebody repent, they get mad at you. So just say, hey, you can pivot off of this, right? You can pivot. That's turn around
Pivot.
the other way. And so
100%.
pivot. Yeah.
Well, so Doc Chambers, I have a question for you. What are your thoughts on the fact that there is still $40 billion funding the Taliban of our tax dollars? What are your
Oh my
thoughts on that?
gosh, yeah. Complete pain and disruption in my body right now
Yes.
when you say that.
That's-
In your
Well,
green body.
I mean, like
Like-
that is a lot of money if we actually are thinking about this. And it's our tax dollars that are going to fund the Taliban, a group of radical Islamists that we've been fighting for God knows how long, right? And just you being a former Green Beret, I just want to know. I mean, well, once a Green Beret, always a Green Beret. This is how I feel about it. But so, what are your thoughts on that? Aside from
I
the
think it's a complete slap in the face to those of us that put friends in body bags. First of all, that's
Yeah.
the personal
Yeah.
side
Yep.
of this. But at the geopolitical and strategic level, I can't comprehend it. I really can't
Yeah.
comprehend it. And I have to ask, okay, who made the deal first of all? And I believe it happened during the Biden administration.
Great question.
And so who made the deal first of all? And then we've got to get to the 5 W's, the who, what, why, when, where, what, why are these things happening? And so then we need to chase that down, because it's just like anything that we're doing. When we target things, so the way we target things, we use a network. We figure out where did it start? What was the seed, if you will? And then who are the people involved? And at that point, then we
benefits?
can have a solid answer.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, who benefits? Who best benefits from
Who
the Taliban being
benefits?
funded?
Right.
Yeah.
So who benefits from Taliban? Okay. So if we look back and we did 20 years of war, after I came back in to active duty after 9/11, I said, we're going to go fix this Taliban problem. We're going to come back and then we're going to get back in the guard and just relax. Didn't happen. We were there for 20 years collectively, all of us.
That's true.
And so for me, it's now the conspiracy theories that I thought were conspiracy in the past, the corporatocracy, the military industrial complex, who benefits? Did we benefit? I mean, I would go to war 100 times over again tomorrow to protect any citizen in this country if I believed that the threat was imminent. But I'm not really happy about going to do the bidding of a corporation or anything else. So who benefits from continued disruption in the Middle East?
I agree.
Absolutely. That's a
100%.
great question. I want to ask you, we played this video earlier in the week on our show. I'm going to play it for you here. And I want to get, given your experience in helping the men and women who serve to defend our country, helping them to be able to get religious exemptions and not get a forced experimental injection in their arm. Take a look at this video, and then I want to get your reaction.
Sure.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
All right. The fact that they've got a CIA person on there, first of all, that the same methodology that they used to say, remember those videos where they came out and said, safe and effective, safe and effective,
Yes.
safe and effective, safe and effective. That's their MO, right? That she probably wrote 90% of that. That's subversive behavior. They have a conflict of interest to tell soldiers to disobey orders. Now, if I had to disobey an order, right? A general told me to stop doing informed consents, and I said, sir, by the regulations, I must. And then he said, well, it's your career. And I said, at that point, he's crossed the line. So I had to tell him, sir, that's an unlawful order. And he got mad, he turned mad, and he fired me. But here's the deal. And I've been chewed out before. I can handle it. But here's the deal. When they do it and they are representatives, are they representing their constituents by inserting disruptive speech into the narrative, right? Narrative.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
narrative stuff right there. That's dialectic stuff. Those are the things called a Hegelian dialectic, which then separate us. They are actually guilty of subversive type activities because they are feeding into, right? They're feeding into
Yep.
the model that is a Marxist, Saul Alinsky, that's Cloward Piven. It is something that creates a dissension amongst us,
Yes.
especially amongst the ranks. Now, if you want
Yes.
to get back out and put on a uniform and come back in and do something about it, you can stand up if you see an unlawful order. But you as a leader do not have, you there's a huge conflict of interest there. And that is
1000%.
subversive. And then to say that, just to be ambiguously to say that, we know that. Guess what? We read the same regulations that they do. And so we know if you were posed with an order, hey, go out there and slay that whole village over there. No, that's an unlawful order. We don't just jump. We're not robots. We have to stand it. That is your duty. And you know that. So to me, that's exactly what that was. And to have that CIA check, I saw that yesterday. I'm like, come on, stop. You guys are doing the same playbook.
I'm so glad. Doc, you have no idea how happy I am that you are so knowledgeable on all of these issues. You're talking about dialectic, you're talking about Solinsky, you're talking about alt Marxism, you're talking about how it is infiltration and it divides the ranks and it divides the people. And it really is the semblance of a color war, color revolution. That's exactly what we're seeing. You called it a soft coup earlier. This is what government does. So when I say that we have not had a moral government for over 100 years, this is exactly what I mean, because it's not just that this is happening here in America. American government, CIA included, and the industrial war complex has done this overseas over and over and over again.
They're so good at it.
They're really good at it. It is what they do. So to think that we have a moral and just government is wildly inaccurate. You are hallucinating.
It very much is. And so I believe that there's a duality in our government where there's a subversive undertone that has a lot of money because they take money from the black side.
Yes.
And so that black money there's no control over it. There's no oversight, which is the purpose of our legislator up on the Capitol. One of them specifically in the House, the oversight committees, that's their job. Right. So they can't see that money. So when you have people like Victoria Nuland that was out there that created really the problem set in the Ukraine, which then put us into another 20 years of a Cold War type scenario where we send contractors over working for certain agencies who then get into the mix based upon how much money. Look, this is, again, it is to destabilize the whole world to then bring the world back together as a one world government. GW's daddy's the one that started that, as far as openly on media. So we've got to be careful because otherwise the Constitution that we took an oath to, or the one that I will take an oath to in the state of Texas, who do ordains in the preamble under the creator, our creator, right? So I take those words seriously. I read my job descriptions and I know what I'm responsible for.
Proper roles and responsibilities, right?
But this is one of the great things about somebody like yourself stepping up to run for governor. We need this across our nation. We do have some great governors and strong governors. We love DeSantis here, although part of what I love about him is that he'll listen sometimes when you feel like that there's some things you'd like to change,
But that's the point of building those relationships, right? And we are in, and I like to, and you'll understand this, we're in a war for the soul of our nation. We're in a war to save our nation from corruption. We're in a war for trying to right the ship and build a new foundation. What Trump is doing with America, and what I feel like you're going to do with Texas, is he's essentially a builder. He's stripping away to the bare bones, and that's going to cause some
biggest
pain.
renovation, the biggest renovation of the nation.
And he's stripping away the bare bones, exposing all of the skeletons in the house to let us know what exactly is going on, how it actually works, while he's laying down a new foundation. It's not painless. That is painful.
And it's gonna.
We cannot have friendly fire. Yes. We have to make sure that that we need everybody. We do. We need everybody on the team. And I understand we're trying to expose things and we're trying to right the ship. And yes, there are some people on our side that need to be dealt with and handled. But at the same time, we are at a war for our nation, and we need to focus.
Doc,
So-
I want to ask you just quickly so that our viewers know, because this governor's race, just like many other races across the country, I think of them as national. I mean, your state shares the largest southern border in our nation. If we're not concerned about what's happening in Texas, we're missing it as American people. So let our viewers know what they can do, where they can find out more about you, your governor race, and how they can support you.
Yes. So, hang on 1 second. Somebody's trying to call me, of course.
Oh no.
Because you're in demand.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. All right. So
okay.
how they can support is docpeachchambers.org, O-R-G. And there's a give page. Listen, let me explain something to people. This is the first domino of the flyover states. Texas, as Texas goes, so goes the breadbasket of America. And as the breadbasket of America goes, whatever the East and West Coast is doing, and we've got a great ally in Florida. They've been over here helping us on the border quite a bit.
Yeah.
We love DeSantis over here. He's helped us a bunch.
Yeah.
And we never agree 100% with every single politician,
We're not
nor do
going
I.
to.
But I've watched him, I've studied him, and he does what I do. You got two of these and one of these.
Yep.
You listen.
I love it.
Listen to people. I go to rooms where I walk in there like, who is this knucklehead? What are you going to do? And of course, I don't look like this. I'm driving on the road, but I go in there very professional. I say, listen, I'm here to listen to you, to find out your problems. And then I'm going to disrupt, and I'm going to hurt feelings, and people are going to get fired. But here's the deal. I've got to have a plan. And so the only way I can develop it is to understand the current Constitution, which I do, both of them, and then understand how to take that, put it into policy, and then how to take the 100,000 word Constitution of the state of Texas, whittle it down to somewhere closer to what the Constitution of the United States, 7,500 words. And now the body of itself is beautiful. I don't want a constitutional amendment. I don't want to change the whole thing, but we've got so many different add-ons that it's a litigious labyrinth of laws that people cannot read. They just can't work their way through it. This is what's happened in Texas on the legislative side is everything is written by lawyers and legalese, and the average citizen has no idea what they can and can't do and how much
break it down kitchen table style.
Right.
how their freedom has been, because our freedom comes from our creator, and nothing more, nothing less. We just had a law passed in Texas, a proposition that says that parents now have the right, given by the state of Texas, to control what their children look at on an app, good and bad. Here's the problem: is the government should not be able to tell them, because they already have that.
They already have the right.
If the government wants to come in and help with controlling the people that are doing it, that's the way I look at it. Not that I'm going to give you your sovereignty that you already have.
That's different. It's about the wording, right? It is definitely
about the wording. But
it's
people voted it in because they read it the way that it was only the two little lines that were given on the vote. So you got to go into the details.
They do that.
You're right. It happened here in Florida too, when they were saying what age was appropriate for your child to be on social media. And even though we were advocates for parental rights, it was like, but wait a minute, what if I say 14 and you say 15?
Right.
Now the government's telling you you're
it's a specific age. So like, I thought we can co-parent with the government. Do you co-parent with the government, or do you co-parent with God? Like, which one is it?
That's it. So it's just, and so if you do it with the right, so in Green Berets or anywhere, really, if you understand that, and look, we're trained to overthrow countries, right? That's what a part of what they do. We don't do it. We spend 99% of our time doing foreign internal defense, which is protecting nations that we're friends with. But if there's a bad actor in a state, for example, Afghanistan, when we came in, the Taliban was running it, we moved them out real quick. And so for us, the center of gravity for us, because we have to go into the middle of a mountain range and live with people, 12 guys, and the center of gravity for us is people. It's right here. It's this heart, right? Relationships.
Yes.
It's not infrastructure. It's not corporations. It's not we're the 9th largest economy in the world in the state of Texas. No. It's not that. Center of gravity is people, and that is very, very biblical as well. And so I consult my faith, and I fought for every single person, no matter what your faith is. I'll do the same thing as governor, but I will always go to Proverbs for my wisdom. Let's just say that.
Wow. And I think Texas is honored to have you to run for governor, and we're praying that you win, because I think that'll be great for Texas.
And I love that reminder that you gave us, because being somebody that's running for office, it's easy sometimes to get caught up in the chatter of how you're going to be a part of every solution. And I think relationally, that's the equity that you want as a candidate, is to be able to say, let's work together on what we agree on. Let's work together on the humanity
So
of
we can
it.
find a solution to
Not necessarily that this big governing body is going to answer all your problems.
Don't look to
But it
government to
never
solve your
will.
problems. They can't.
Yeah.
Right,
It never
exactly.
will. Ronald Reagan, the first president I worked for, said it like this. I'll paraphrase it. He said the so many words, these are the worst, the most dangerous words or scary words I've ever heard is, we're here from the government. We're here to help.
We're here to help.
Right?
Sure. I believe you.
No,
I believe
no.
Run. The government's here. We're here to solve your problems. Run.
Run the other
No,
direction.
it needs to be pushed down to the lowest level, the doctrine of lesser magistrates. It's what John Knox did in 1500s, which our founding fathers used from Scotland, that they used to write the documents. Those were based on 71, I believe, biblical principles.
Yeah,
That's
so
where it kicked off.
knowledgeable.
Doc, thank you so
where
much.
can people find you? Would you say DocPeteChambers? What was it?
DocPeteChambers.org. O-R-G.
There we go.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining the open mic, ladies. You're always welcome back here. And God bless you. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. It's amazing.
He is a breath of fresh air. I love having him on. I
know.
can talk to him forever.
Absolutely.
He's intellectually there with me, and I love that.
Well, and lacing up the boots and largely going out and doing it again. And I've said this because we've been in the same room with obviously people like General Flynn, and it's amazing to see these people like yourself that go and lace up the boots and they fight, they do what's right, and then they come back and they're like, wait a minute, I just fought over there for this country, and now I got to clean it up here because we want to make sure that the homeland is strong. We're going to completely shift gears here, so stay with us. But Allie, this is why I said that the governorship in Texas is a national issue, which is why you should go to DocPeteChambers.com and make sure that you are donating to his campaign, because it costs money to run a statewide campaign in a state like Texas like that. But here's why it matters. Why it matters what happens in California, why it matters what happens in Texas, to you and I, to us here in Florida.
Right.
We now have word. Benny Johnson was talking to Senator Mullins, who has reports in Oklahoma. Listen, I'm not going to say it. I'll let him say it. Here, take a listen.
The traffic map too. So Oklahoma is working with DHS and Department of Transportation. You know, all these illegals that are driving semis on the road and killing individuals, traffic stops, they can't read English. So our state took a heavy approach to this, and our state troopers, great individuals. They're the ones that provide security for me. They are absolutely studs, and they got a great leader that's leading the state, and the Governor Stitt, or not leaving the state, but leaving the troopers, and Governor Stitt gave them the ability to be able to work with ICE and with DHS. They started doing rolling traffic stops on our interstates coming in. So coming in out of Texas, coming in out of New Mexico, coming in and out of Arkansas, and Missouri. And it's amazing. We started catching so many semis on the road. The first time we did it is 110 illegal semis on the road that were driving with CDLs that literally said no name given. That was on the name. And they were coming from, the license were only issued in California and New York. We only did this for 10 hours.
Wow.
10 hours, and they found 110.
No name given.
California and New York.
When's the last time you've been able to go into a DMV ever and say, well, and you know, what's your name? No name given?
Well, you need like a birth certificate, a bill, your lease, your mortgage payment.
How many times have you gone to the DMV and you have to leave and come back?
Driver's license, your social security card. You need like your firstborn, the blood of your secondborn. Like, goodness gracious.
I laugh because this is such a thing. I go in, I'm like,
and they're like, don't tell me I'm missing something.
And they're like, we need this.
Golly.
I'll be right back.
In California, New York, you just go in and just, don't even have to speak English. They hand you, oh my goodness.
No name given. But, here he is, Senator Mullins from Oklahoma. So he's talking about listen, if the states in our union don't largely get it together and all play by the same rule, lock it down.
What are we doing? 9 months. It's been 9 months since the election. What are we doing? Like, I am livid at this.
This is why we can't just say, well, we're going to leave New York to those crazies. We're going to leave California to those crazies. Yes, largely.
No, because you know what that's like? That's like the illegal aliens that are coming over here. They have 40 nations over there that they can go and ruin.
Yes.
And they won't ruin theirs, but they come over here to ruin ours.
Try getting into their countries.
In your blue state.
Make sure that you are doubling down in your blue state. Don't let the 2026 midterms go by with you sitting on your couch on your best intentions. We need you no matter what. And listen, red states Red states aren't necessarily safe either because you've got your larger metropolitan areas like here, you know, Tampa, Miami, wherever you live, there is a district that needs your help, I guarantee you. Allie, I want to shift just a little bit to some good news.
Yes.
Because Trump, obviously, in just under a year has done so much, but bringing back the Israeli, those that were held in hostage, he welcomed them into the White House. Let's hear what he had to say.
Hostages. You're not a hostage anymore today. You're heroes. You're considered heroes.
You are not hostages anymore.
And really all people.
That's amazing.
You're not hostages anymore. I mean, I can't imagine what that life looks like trying to now go back into some type of normalcy. Some of these people were years.
They don't go back to normal. That changes you forever. There's no such thing. It's going to require a lot of therapy and a lot of healing and a lot of undoing of brokenness.
I mean, much like our servicemen and women, really, when you come back from what they see overseas.
And PTSD is just not war related. So I love our president for doing this. He's just an amazing man. He has such a heart. Like Doc Pete Chambers was saying, our most valuable thing that we have is our relationships.
Yeah.
And how we conduct them. And we need to meet people with grace, and we need to not kick people when they're down.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an accountability measure. So honestly, if we're being honest, how was accountability met in our faith? You know, with Jesus could have come to this earth and just stomped all over people, but originally he met them right where they are. They do not know what they do.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't. So
that's a great. I bet that was a great moment for them, you know, and their families to be invited to the White House and to have the president of the United States who has set them free essentially with his amazing negotiation skills.
And it's one of the things that's not a blue or red, it's a bleeding heart matter, right? Everybody should be championing that. Absolutely. Now, speaking of relationships, we love Senator Kennedy because he always gives you a good laugh.
America's grandpa.
But you know that uncle? He's a good uncle. That uncle that's going to be present during Thanksgiving this year, and you're just
going to have Thanksgiving with Senator Kennedy.
He's just going to tell you all the stories and say all the ones. My dad used to be that.
I would sit next to him, and I would probably like, hey, come on, like.
What do you think about this?
Can you just tell me that story one more time?
My dad was that person that everybody was like, oh, here comes the one-liner.
Like, here's this bourbon. Here, drink this with me.
One more.
Tell me about that time win.
Take a listen to Senator Kennedy, and you'll love him as much as we do.
Why have we sat around for 5 months and not started on the second reconciliation bill? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I feel your pain.
I mean, in my opinion, and really, I'm just making an observation. To me, it's a 12-piece bucket of stupid not to do another reconciliation bill and to waste 5 months before we even start on a second reconciliation bill, assuming that we get started tomorrow. I mean, humans are supposed to have evolved as a species. Why would we not do a second reconciliation bill? Think of what we could do. I mean, moms and dads all across America tonight are going to lie down to sleep, and they won't be able to. What are they worried about? Well, they're worried about the cost of housing, for one thing. They're worried about the cost of home insurance. They're worried about the cost of flood insurance. They're worried about the cost of health insurance. We all know that. They're worried about the cost of living.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy, for pointing out the things that are actually affecting America, the things that Americans are actually caring about. What is taking so long, House of Representatives and the Senate? What's taking so long? What are you guys doing? What are you focused on?
And all he's saying is, while we're here, let's put together a reconciliation package. That is dealing with spending, revenue, a debt limit. And when he was saying that many families are going to sleep tonight and unable to really rest because they're concerned of these things, what we're asking our federal government under the Republican leadership especially is, listen, do the same thing that we have to do for our families.
That's it.
We have to look at our monthly budget.
Yeah.
We have to make cuts where we see fit. We have to try to make sure that we prioritize the things that should be priority. And we are doing that day by day. And so I love that he points this out. He called it a 12-piece bucket of stupid.
He's so funny.
As a fan of fried chicken myself, I love that analogy.
But too, and I agree. I agree. We do need to hold people accountable. But when are we going to hold people accountable for J6, for the J6 committee? When are we going to hold people accountable for?
There was a whole report this morning, and I didn't get a chance to include it, so you guys have to tune in Monday. We love the press conference with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, but a lot of people have a lot of questions because most people in the Trump administration, when they get in front of a microphone, they largely are unscripted and they are able to really discuss at great lengths and depth what's taking place. And there's some frustration on how that's not necessarily occurring.
With the DOJ.
We want to give some grace, but obviously the DOJ is where all these pieces are resting right now.
Right.
Just for a little bit of giggles. Can we do a little bit of giggles?
Yeah, we can giggle.
Do you miss the baby videos?
Okay.
Do you like a good Trump baby video?
They're adorable.
Yeah, they're adorable. It's their little cheeks. Let's take a look.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman here. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
There you go.
It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket.
We're giving it back, David.
I love it.
I mean,
that's cute.
So this has kind of been the message.
Sugar with the medicine.
Yeah, it's been the last couple days, maybe even longer, that we've been talking about it too. As government, you can do two things at once. You can hold people accountable and move business forward. But honestly, what's most important?
Look,
what's most important?
Either codify the executive orders or get out of office and go become an AG somewhere. Yeah. Like, go be a prosecutor, because this is ridiculous. The fatigue I have, I'm like, here.
Well, and listen, it has to be difficult to sit here and listen to reporters that constantly interrupt. This is not the first time that he's been with a foreign dignitary and they've come in and asked some sham question. You've got leader of Saudi Arabia sitting there. That's what you want.
That's going to invest trillions of dollars in America, and that's the question you ask? When Trump was literally the whistleblower, he was the first person
to really work with the FBI and CIA. Look at the documents here in Florida. We've known this since 2008.
Can we please pass repeal the Smith-Modernization Act, please?
Let's go.
Please?
Call it the Open Mic Act. I don't care what you call it. Let's just do it. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining Open Mic. This is the end of the Open Mic Act. This is the end of the week. We're grateful that it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I don't know what you got planned this weekend, but make sure that you make it count and that you hold your loved ones dear.
And find the joys of the Lord, because that'll keep you anchored.
It will.
And keep you out of jail.
Make sure that you're following us at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all social media platforms. Get out and support Doc Peak Chambers.
Yes.
And look for a candidate this weekend. Go online. Look for a candidate in your area that's running coming up in 2026 that believes in those MAGA America First.
And look past the headlines.
Look past the headlines. Do your due diligence, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining Open Mic over the weekend. Keep that mic open.
Is high.